So into capture age we go, and we have the first game of the round of 32. This is now a best of 5. I have not set up my scoreboard properly because I didn't change it to 5. And we are off. Come on then. Thank you, capture age. Nili versus Daniel. This is a big one. We got Daniel here in the red as Vikings, Nili in the east of the map also as Vikings. We've got archery range coming up for Daniel, stable for Nili. So different approaches for the two players. Daniel getting double bit axe now, just coming in a few seconds later for Nili. And Daniel is building a couple of houses straight away, looking to potentially try and wall around his berry villagers at the start. Daniel has gone out onto deer, I believe. I don't know where from. Potentially from under the TC. Nili will have done so from gold. Who's the favourite and by how much? I don't know. I couldn't say who the favourite is. I think Nili would probably say it's about 55-45 to Daniel. But it could really go either way. So Nili does now have the range up as well. He's adding archers. Hasn't invested into too many scouts. Yeah, I think these days Daniel has the edge, but it's not a done deal. Yeah, completely agree. Like both have done. Can someone share the spectate code for the game? Yep. There you go. No worries. Yeah, both of these have done loads of improvement over the last 6 months, 6 to 12 months, I would say. And like Daniel is training often with some much higher level players as well. So like training with Yo quite frequently. But he's also training with Hera and Leary, from what I understand. So I think it's doing Daniel the world of good getting that practice in. He was really unlucky in Red Bull 3 not to have made it through. I think losing to... I can't remember. Was it Winchester or ACCM maybe? I might have got that completely wrong, but there was definitely one I remember where Daniel was on the verge of qualifying for something, and I think it was Red Bull. Song. Thank you, LG. Appreciate it. I remember it being close, and I think Daniel lost on Lowlands. That he had a slight lead, and yeah, very impressive performance. So we've got small micro battle here. Nili with some skirmishers mixed in. Both players losing a few there. And the skirmishers should pick off the archer, and then if they split up can kill the spearman. But Daniel is in on Nili's gold with his archers. Nili hasn't clicked up yet. Does so now, so he's a little bit behind. I think a little distracted there. Nili having some idle time in his TC. So he's 3 villagers down, 2 from idle time. And 1 from Vilkills. So with defender's advantage, able to force Daniel away there. Has a villager here who is, I think, trying to wall those archers in so that they can be... There's a bear inside. So spearman runs under the TC, but a skirmisher alone wasn't enough for the TC to fire. Right, so compositions. Daniel going 2 range crossbow production in Castle Age. Nili 2 range crossbow production also. Still open at the back here for Nili, but if he can wall that off, he's got this one wood line at the back. It should give him some safe wood income. His gold is fairly safe, whereas Daniel's close to the wood line at the back here. Well, not close to the wood line, close to the palisade. Archers coming forward for Daniel again. So Nili has now cleaned up everything. It's got the idle villager there. Could get sniped by Daniel. And Nili doesn't react, so loses that one. Daniel, crossbow, bodkin, bowsaw. Nili going to match it. Going for a defensive siege workshop first of all. Could go for a university and ballistics as well. But isn't doing so just yet. So, crossbows in now for Daniel. He's firing on the palisade here. Nili outmasses Daniel, but now Nili with crossbow as well is going to try and take this engagement, just relying on micro. Some good micro there from Daniel. But with the skirmishers mixed in, I don't know whether that will go too well for him in the long run. Coming down to the bottom of the hill, Daniel pulling away and researching ballistics. Nili has not gone for the university this time. So Daniel should now take the lead in that micro battle. Although I think it took less of his attention, so he is going to lose them. Does get in the upgrade, reset the fire delay on units. Notice them firing at different speeds, and when the upgrade kicks in, they're all in sync. Which upgrade? Do you mean crossbow? There is every chance that is the case. I couldn't say with certainty. Daniel had moved some crossbows behind this woodline. Nili comes out with a mangonel, takes out the crossbows there. Entirely possible, LG, because the game would then consider them new units, wouldn't it? Yeah, I've definitely seen it with knights being upgraded to cavalier where they're attacking a TC, or scouts being upgraded to light cav I had the other day. So they were all attacking like houses, and then they were suddenly in sync, like you say. So I guess that, like we were saying, that the game would consider them new units, so it would reset it. So third TC's coming up for both players. Nili trying to drop one at the front of this fairly thin wood line. Might have liked it on the right hand side a little bit more, but that should secure the front of his base for the time being. It being at the bottom of this hill, I don't really like. Nili is forward with 2 mangonels, so could start pressuring this TC. He's going to try and pick off a couple of villagers on the wood line, and gets one, and Daniel pulls away. Daniel is coming forward with his own crossbows and looking for an opportunity to get some damage in. Nili sees it, has the mangonel here, and a nice attack round now with crossbows out in defense alongside the mangonel. Daniel has to do much more micro, pulls away. So Daniel adding a mangonel of his own. Nili's not paying attention. He could lose his mangonel here for free. And he does. Crossbows pop out of the range for Daniel. Nili is now getting a university, so we'll be getting ballistics shortly. Although Nili then takes that out without losing his second one. Should lose it to the crossbows here. Although with the reinforcements coming in, it should be too much. Oh no, Daniel splits really, really well. Manages to micro down the mangonel, keeps most of his numbers alive. Nili now teching elite skirm. He's got ballistics coming in. Daniel now getting thumb ring. Daniel adding a siege workshop in the south as well, so that will just protect both of his town centres. Daniel with another mangonel coming out. Nili doesn't react and should lose it. Daniel choosing the mangonel over the crossbow mass. So another batch of crossbows coming forward for Daniel, and Nili getting armor. Oh no, he cancelled it. It was meant to be archer armor. So 3 TCs for Nili. Little bit of idle time here. Is he saving for an upgrade? Or is it just a little distracted. Loses one villager there from the gold. And Elite Scum is in, Nili adding another range. Daniel adding a Scorpion in defense. So now Crossbows trying to micro down the Mangonel again. They run into the range of TC. Yeah, they take shot from the TC. And that mass should get cleaned up as well now. Daniel's already stopped microing it because he's dealing with Nili's crossbows here on his woodline. More Vil kills for Nili. That's a good raid. Daniel coming back with crossbows in defense, but Nili has bigger numbers here. Similar HP, but higher damage output for Nili. Neither player microing this. Daniel now tries to pull away, but Nili is still here with numbers. Daniel coming back with a Scorpion. So Nili, I expect, will try and pick off the villager on the woodline. He did. Sorry, I moved away. I was just checking to see what was happening in the centre. And we'll try and pull away from the Scorpion. Nili might even get a villager on the gold here. Gets one. Gets... No, doesn't get the second. Manages to escape. But Nili will walk into the Scorpion. Trying to get within the minimum range, I think, or try and pull home. So Mangonel is forward again for Nili. Trying to pressure that TC at the front. And Nili has some knights on the way out. This time Nili reacts, pulls the Mangonel away as the defensive Mangonel comes out for Daniel. And Nili saves his Mangonel. I love this knight addition for Nili. He's gone skirmishers. This time Daniel has teched into his own skirms quicker than Tomate did in the previous round. But Nili, anticipating it, has knights. So, units diving under the TC by mistake, and Daniel is now making his own knight transition. Although it will be delayed if Nili attacks with his knights. He's not, he's running in instead. So he's going to go into the farming eco. And this should be a fair few villagers die to this because Daniel doesn't have a crossbow army that can deal with it. And Nili has seen the ranges, the stables. So again, teching back into crossbows. Not teching, just transitioning back into. He's already got the technologies. A nice move. Again, villagers dying. Nili going to escape with these? He is. And he'll find some more eco back here. Oh, he doesn't see it. In the centre of the map, Nili back with crossbow numbers. He's got armour coming in on his knights. These are only skirmishers. This is looking quite nice for Nili, although he's running into the Mangonel. Only loses one skirmisher, but he loses numbers to the TC as well. Nili's knights dealing with the skirmishers here. Although they are very low HP now. There is a Scorpion out. One knight goes down to that. The other two... One will survive and should Daniel trying to kill the knight with his villagers. He should do so, but Nili will be quite happy to have traded that off against the Scorpion. And knights moving across for Nili. Another Mangonel here. And 3 pressuring that TC at the front. Nili's here with crossbows and skirmishers as well. The tech switches for Nili has been really, really nice here. Like, he went skirmisher, so Daniel was forced to. Went knights in preparation, and then as soon as he saw the stables, went back into crossbows, knowing that they deal far better with the knights than skirmishers do. Although his army is slightly out of position here, knights are coming across. The TC at the front goes down, and knights are diving on the villagers. Crossbows going to try and deal with the knights. Skirmishers coming out for Daniel at the bottom, but Nili has raids everywhere. He's in the woodlines. He's following Daniel back into his base. Nili taking a really, really good position in this game. He's got a 20 villager lead. Neither player looking like Imperial Age at the moment, although Daniel potentially flirting with it with that amount of gold. Although his access to this TC on the left has gone down again. Nili moving around. 6 mangonels at the front. There's a 7th somewhere. Daniel has 2 lumberjacks currently. Having to use that gold. He can't go Imperial Age. He's having to buy wood instead. Daniel pops out with knights. There, Nili's numbers are going to get cleaned up. And Nili, again, now has monks out. There's a siege workshop just here on the hill for Daniel. He's got a mangonel coming out. So Nili just needs to be aware of that. Knights on the town centre. More villagers die, trying to build that. 58 eco deaths for Daniel so far. Nili sees the garrison, pulls back. Again, more raiding here. There's a monk there with a relic, which Nili will now kill. But he's going to lose these mangonels. But Nili has used this pressure to be able to get up to Imperial Age, now adding in pikemen. Daniel's fully focused on knight production currently. And Nili adding barracks at home. Daniel trying to get forward for some counterattacks. He's coming forward, he finds Nili making this castle. The knight numbers could deny it, although there's one of those knights very weak. Pike is here now, and Nili is going to send all of his new units across here. Nili, will he get the conversion? No, the monk goes down. That's a very long conversion timer on that monk. Menendra, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Nili is committing to try and get this castle up. Doesn't have military dealing with this knight attacking the builders, but the pikeman forces the knights away again. Daniel forced to add back in some skirmishers, and again it's just going to be delaying that Imperial Age for him because it's more food that he's having to spend. Das Bonbon Auswurst, welcome to the stream. GG on Imp, entirely possible. 26 villager lead for Nili, and some quick gates, although they do open up just as the gate completes. Very unfortunate for Nili there, but I think he should be quite happy with the situation. Nili domination, yeah. Another knight. There we go. And we do have the GG on Imperial Age. Excellent decision making. Yeah, like the transitions there for Nili were incredible. I think it all comes down to that. You owe me £5 now? No. Feels like Nili improved on decision making since last qualifiers. That game for me came down to exactly that. The transitions, the tech switches. Every time Nili was the first one to make those switches, Daniel had to react, and Nili was already prepping for the response. Really, really impressed. Military, this KD doesn't tell the whole story because 60 of those kills for Nili was Daniel's villagers. It meant Daniel was ahead in food, but having to spend it on making those transitions, making those counters, and it meant that he was always behind in military numbers. Yeah, really, really impressed by that from Nili. What's the bracket like for Nili? We will jump into the bracket in just a second. I think the winner of this plays Baal's. Have a look at the APM there. I don't think APM tells us too much. If he gets past Daniel, it's Bars. Yeah, cool. Okay, we are in Capture Age. Capture Age is in, and I think I'm a minute or so behind. AOE2.net is having issues, yes. So we have Daniel in the red as Magyars against Nili in the yellow as Magyars. I probably should just play. So Nili has gone for an early tower on his gold. Keller, I will send the thing across in just a second. There. What's the lobby code? On my way with it now. There you go. Oh yeah, it's down. Cool. There you go. So I think we are just behind full real time. I haven't really done the proper introduction, so we've got Nili in the yellow as Magyars, Daniel in yellow, in red as Magyars as well. No worries, happy to help. And so Nili has been producing spears, archers and scouts. Daniel also producing spears, archers and scouts. So we've got all three production at the front. Daniel is going for a preemptive tower on his berries. I said in the last set that the early tower is a problem because it means that your wood line is very exposed. Nili is trying to respond to that and going to stone now. I think he recognises the threat that is posed there. So we've got archers looping around on the right for Daniel. Nili sees them with his scouts, and Daniel here with a scout as well. Armor coming in for Daniel's scouts. Nili arrives with scouts and spearmen. Not much in the way of archers. And Nili's archers, Daniel's archers are between Nili's army and the woodline. Nili taking the fight here against the scouts with his villagers, trying to pick one off. He's already lost 2 villagers. He should lose a third. Might lose a fourth if he doesn't respond here. He'll probably kill the scout. Oh yeah, the spear's there. And the scouts are now here to clear up the army. But at the same time, Nili was in Daniel's woodline. So 3 villagers lost for... Oh, Nili, there was a weak one in the middle. It was trying to get it with the archer desperately. And Nili loses the archer. The scouts into the berries here. Nili arrives with his scouts. Daniel gets 1 villager and then pulls away. So it's 6 villager kills for Daniel, 3 for Nili. And Nili is here with 5 scouts, 5 also for Daniel. Daniel has 5 archers in that range ready to pop out. He already has the attack upgrade, and now it's going to start pressing forward. Nili mixing in skirmishers, getting bloodlines. Is Nili channeling his inner viper yellow today? No, the rule is higher seed in red, lower seed in yellow. Daniel getting wheelbarrow very, very early. And also now getting bloodlines. Second range coming up for Nili. Second stable for Daniel. Daniel looping, heading for that woodline. Because Red Bull, yeah, exactly. They like their branding. So Nili has bloodlines, now Daniel does too. Nili's archers and skirms slightly out of position. The concern for Nili is that those scouts are heading to the woodline. But Nili is there already with spears. So. And is going for a second stable as well. Armor coming in for Nili's scouts. Spears get a few hits for free. Nili dives on the archers with his scouts and loses all of the spearmen, but is ahead on combined HP here. Although, yeah, Nili should be able to deal with this. Although Daniel abandons the fight, recognizing he's probably going to lose it, and goes for Vilpix. Gets one. Nili's here with more, and Daniel's here with more scouts. Daniel sending scouts straight through Nili's base to come and deal with this. Gets a great surround on the archers, and Daniel heads straight into Nili's woodline. I fear that we may see a GG very shortly. These scouts are going to get more villagers. Nili's fighting the scouts with villagers, and the scouts will get cleaned up, but there's more and more scouts flooding across for Daniel. Nili adding more spearmen though. I think this is the approach for Nili, like wall in the villagers and scouts won't do much. Archers are the real damage unit here. And Daniel has 3 stable production, adding in rangers as well. They're going for a 4th stable. Daniel is committed. He's got 700 gold in the bank, so it would be worth getting a market soon. There's 4 weak scouts there for Daniel, but there's more at the front. Daniel... Oh no, I thought he was stopping production for a second. Soyash, yes, it's free pick, just no repeats. So there's nothing wrong with both picking the same here. Magyar's considered one of the best civs for Haboob. Nili has some more exposed villagers here. Daniel is looming with scouts. Nili with some quick walls brings the villager in, and gets the palisades up. Great defending there from Nili. Spearman looping round. He had sent his scouts forward. One of the best, yeah, fair point. I was leaving room for opinion, and Daniel is diving on the gold miners here. There's a lot of villagers. 100% win rate on this map in Red Bull 2 and 3. Seems fair. That was a lot of dead villagers there for Nili. Daniel balancing with the market. He is in a position to click up. Yeah. GG indeed. It depends. If Daniel stops production, maybe not. I believe... Oh, am I wrong? 256, 128, 64, 32. I'm wrong about my scoreboard, I think. I'll have a look after this game. Yeah, Daniel's keeping up his scout production. 4 stable scouts on the way to Castle Age. Scouts just everywhere. And the difference between them was that Daniel went for the 2nd stable before the 2nd range. Nili went for 2nd range. This meant that Daniel was able to just snowball these numbers. Yeah, 20 villager kills for Daniel, only 6 for Nili. Nili trying desperately to counter-attack, but Daniel here with way more. I might be wrong about round of 32. I need to double check that. Castle Age GG. I would assume so. Nili not with much military here either. Round of 32 is right. Okay, so it's just the it's best of 3, not 5. So Daniel hits Castle Age. He has Light Cav coming in. He now gets the attack upgrade as well, and Nili does call it. Yeah, for me it was the scout numbers snowballing. Went for the 2 ranges, 2 stables before 2 ranges. Kept his archers inside the range until he was ready to move forward. Took a really good fight against Nili's archers, whittled them down, and then was able to come in and do so much damage on that woodline. Oh, I haven't done... Look at stats. So yeah, positive KD for Daniel. More military through a lot of it. Nili able to catch up at the end there, but not not enough when Daniel had hit Castle Age. The important thing for Daniel there, and that that I have seen before in this map or similar concepts where you have the extended feudal age, is that he kept producing on his way up. He didn't stop. Too often you'll see a player click Castle Age and then wait to bank up resources for upgrades, etc. But he just kept flooding scouts. Okay, so we have the deciding game here of Nili versus Daniel. So there was some sort of trigger that deleted sections of these walls, I think just to give the aesthetic. You can say if you like it even or not, personal decision. So we got, does the trade workshop trickle resources? It does. Oh wow, there's 3 trade workshops. This is interesting. Okay, so we've got Nili in the left of the map in the yellow as Cumans, Daniel in the right of the map also as Cumans. Nili's gone for 2 ranges to open, forward with spears and archers. So these are trade workshops that generate a trickle of income. How interesting. This is a new map for me, so I'm just kind of trying to take it in, understand a little bit. Oh, game code. There you go. So we've got 1 range, 1 stable for Daniel. Nili going for 2 ranges to begin with. Daniel is forward here with some scouts. Nili's going to try and wall in his woodline. JB already play AOE4 then. I'm in the AOE4 beta. I can say that. And look at the number of villagers getting pulled here. And at home, I think Nili lost 1 villager there. Yeah, he did. But worker efficiency in the last minute, Daniel way down. Cumans versus Cumans, what a matchup. So Unrivaled Super Hottie is a member of the GB Discord and is a huge fan of Cumans. Yeah, cheaper stables and archery ranges is pretty solid. So you can drop both. I tried to do that in my round, and I just was against the far better player, so didn't work. What are Cumans good at? They get faster movement on their cavalry. As they said, they can drop both of these early. Hottie likes to go for scouts, archers, rams, and towers. From what I've seen. The gap is open to the woodline. Nili is going to walk through. He's gone for a stable as well, and adding a market. Daniel here now with his scouts. Nili's got a lot of idols under his TC that needs to be fixed. Brand new, they get cheaper ranges than stables. Do you have any idea what these trickles are? Yes, it's from the trade workshops. They generate just a trickle of each resource every couple of seconds or something. Nili picking off some more villagers. And it has a scary looking mass here. It's got the production rolling. Daniel is going for armor on his scouts. And has gone for a... you're right, they don't trickle stone. My apologies, I didn't notice that. Now these effects are already on maps. Hello stone because it's easiest to follow. Yeah, makes complete sense. So, Nili clicks up and adds another stable. I presume he's going to continue production alongside this. Archers, so a tower forced on both wood lines for Daniel. Next there's a neutral castle somewhere. Battle Royale tournament when? So the scouts from Daniel are here. They're going to try and pick off this villager before Nili can kill them with his scouts. Just because trade workshops were introduced to Battle Royale where they won't need stone. Yeah, maybe so. So again, Nili, 10 archers at the moment, trying to just control the centre of the map. I beat the pros at Battle Royale, get on my level. And Daniel is still trying to produce in Feudal Age. His economy is nowhere near what Nili's is. Is that just down to idle time? Because like they've got similar... They've got the same villager KD. Daniel... So 9 villagers ahead seems a lot. Oh, Nili idled a lot. Okay. So what, a minute and a half of idle time. Nili hits Castle Age. Getting bloodlines and crossbow. Scouts and archers coming forward for Daniel. Nili's on the gold with his scouts. Castle Age is like 6 vills. Yeah. So what is it? 8 difference. So it would be 9 if that wasn't lost, and 3 villages of idle time. So yeah, makes sense. Nili going for second TC on the wood line. Scouts trying to follow them. There is a spear there. But the archers coming forward will be the concern. Nili sent a ram to take down the tower. That is a move I really like. He should be able to pick off that villager. And Daniel didn't dive on that TC. He instead comes for the gold. Nili brings his villagers home and has Bodkin coming in. Daniel adding more and more towers at home. Daniel trying to mass up his units here. He's got 2 rangers producing. His ram should probably go down to the scouts there. Daniel with 4 archers in the north not doing anything. And scout goes down there. These archers will pick off the crossbow. And where does Nili go? Will Nili find the woodline over on the right? So Nili with 2 TC should be able to catch up in numbers fairly soon. Slightly, I don't think microing just walked through to begin with. And there's now a much bigger archer mass coming forward. Nili might need to send his units home to deal with this. It's got a lot of idols. It's TC completely full. Nili's got 25 of his 37 villagers are idle. And now Nili can send back. He needs those crossbows at home. Although he's killing villagers in Daniel's base. 11 villagers' deaths for each. That eco efficiency for both is just minimal. 20%. Nili has a crossbow in the center of his trade workshop. How interesting. Nili should lose some more villagers at home. He runs under the tower with his crossbows. Just look at, like, Aftermath feels a really appropriate name for this map. It's just a complete wasteland, isn't it? And again, these archers are going to stay alive. Nili's not been able to clean them up, and scouts are coming in. That lone crossbow has the high ground. It does get killed by archers. Scouts coming in, archers are here as well. It's a base trade. Does Nili send his crossbow mass home to clean this up, or does he keep it forward to try and do damage? And Daniel is just sitting there. Nili not able to really collect much gold. And is adding a knight, so a knight should be able to deal with that all. His crossbows find another tower from Daniel. This map seems chaotic. So it's 45 villagers for Nili, 46 for Daniel, but 20 and 25, 27 idols each. River Feudal for Daniel, potentially so. He's not doing a particularly great job of collecting food because his wood count's so low. He's putting all of his wood into archer production and all of his food into scout production, just about keeping his TC ticking over with villagers. And Nili on 2 TCs is going to start taking a villager lead. Don't get why Nili doesn't farm the second TC. Completely agree. Yeah, Nili's knight regaining the trade workshop, although Daniel now takes it back. Where did the knight go? Okay, it went to take that trade workshop as well. And it allows Daniel to come back in here with his scouts. Looks great for Danny, to be honest. Really? There's some random broken walls, actually. Yeah, it was a like animation at the start of the game. With some sort of trigger. Paradox, I'm inclined to think the opposite. How long can you stay in feudal? He's got so little food income, he's going to start falling behind in villager count. Danny is in red. Yeah. Oh, you got it the wrong way around. Yeah, Nili's the one in the good spot here. Scouts going down to the crossbows. Daniel should lose this fight if he engages. Daniel's had to buy food. He sold some stone, bought food in order to afford bloodlines. Nili can just keep producing knights now. He's just about getting his economy rolling again. I'd like to see him just long range mine a little bit of stone so that he can get another TC. A TC on gold somewhere and that is over. He should clearly win. Yeah, I agree. Okay, he's going to stone. 3 on stone over on the left. That'll be enough for a TC. Even on here would be worthwhile. Daniel now just getting horse collar. Look how he's 29 on gold. Nearly should be about 95%. Nearly now is his eco is just about settling. Full Eddie economy. Where are the crossbows? They're looping around in the north. I think they might even go and sit under the tower. Nili now sending knights back to deal with this. Apologies. My throat's getting a little bit sore after some hours, I don't even know how long, of casting. Nili's crossbows walking through the scouts. Not ideal. Nili has done exactly that. He sat under this tower. Daniel's going to lose villagers on the stone and then villagers on the gold, on the woods. Nili just adjusting his economy with his market, selling a bit of wood. Daniel buying food. 3 hours 50. Cheers, Rob. It felt like a while, and I hadn't had any more of my drink, so throat getting a little bit strained. I think Nili dives this tower. He could go and sit under there as well and just completely deny that wood line. This is over. Daniel can't get out of feudal age alive. Agreed. And like Nili is now starting to produce knights. He's got 6 knights coming forward. Daniel cleans up those crossbows, but it's taken like the whole focus of his scouts to do so. Nili can sit here again with his crossbows. Should get Vil picks. Daniel's off of that gold. Nili spot. I would just re-wall my fortress. Ah, yes, but you're cumin, so it's got to be palisades. And GG. Incredible performances from Nili there. Like game 1 and game 2, he was phenomenally played. Worker efficiency. An average is that an average or is that peak value? No, that's got to be the peak. This is just a phenomenal map. I love it. Yeah. Nili being able to get Castle Age was impressive, and it just gave him so much impetus. The crossbows doing so much work on Daniel's villagers, and Daniel investing heavily into the towers to be able to protect various resources, but there were still gaps. Nili able to effectively put Daniel's food eco onto sustaining either the stable or villager count. Nili with 10 minutes of idle TC time. But it didn't matter. Alright, on to statistics. How are you getting the game codes, by the way? Nili is sending them to me each time. Yeah, so Nili with a positive KD there. It was pretty close in terms of KD and army highs. Economy, wood, food, gold, all in Nili's favour. Not much in the way of stone, but Nili able to get a second TC up and was even about to build his third. So 80 villagers produced. Alright. Intermission.